market for a new e-bike or whether you've already purchased your e-bike, one of the most important considerations is going to be the comfort of your butt. All right, now you might think the first thing is I need a more narrow seat, I need a wider seat, I need a cushier seat, and that might be the situation. But probably before you go there, before you run down that rabbit hole of getting a new seat, you might want to consider a suspension seat post.
So what is a suspension seat post? A suspension seat post is just a seat post that has had some kind of mechanical stuff done to it that is either inserted a spring or pistons of some kind to make that seat post have a little bit of give and suspension.
Right, and a lot of manufacturers of bicycles, what they will do is they will put a spring in the seat.
Right, like you see here, there is a spring in this seat.
Right. Or they will do a spring in the actual seat post itself.
And it almost looks like a pogo stick. You've probably seen those and not even realized it.
Right. And they're just not very effective.
Right. And then some bikes, especially nowadays, come with rear suspension. And rear suspension, when it comes that way, it's either a piston or a shock that is attached to the frame.
Yeah, it's integrated into the frame.
Right. Kind of like a car, you know, it works basically the same way. But ours didn't come with that. Ours only came with suspension on the front.
Yeah, but you're not lost because...
Yeah, you are not lost because you can get a suspension seat post.
Right.
And that's what we did. The suspension seat post that we got was the Suntour, and we'll put a link in the description to the seat post, but we're not telling you to buy this one. We just bought it because it fit our needs.
Right.
Go do your research, figure out what you want, and then that's when you make your decision.
But we will tell you why we picked the particular seat, suspension seat post that we did.
Right.
And we'll tell you that right now.
Right.
Okay, so the first consideration that we had when we were purchasing or choosing a suspension seat post was Lisa is a short rider.
I'm a shorty.
So the thing is that you do have to make sure that your suspension seat post will allow for it to go down to a shorter position if you have a shorter rider.
That's right.
Because you are going to be adding more room in there for the suspension of the actual seat post.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and this one fit the bill. It made it so that it was short enough for Lisa. It was a good range.
Right. It was a good range. I could get it short enough so that I can, that I can ride comfortably.
Right. So that worked out good for us. And the second consideration for us was whether or not we could adjust the tension of the seat post. This one we could. It's real easy to do. All you do is just take your seat post off of your bike and just adjust it, and you can get your tension a little tighter, a little loose. Luckily for us, we didn't have a problem with it. We just used a factory setting and it was perfect
for our butts.
Perfect for us. So, but you do have that adjustability if you need it. Now, the third one, it might sound kind of frivolous, but you guys understand recommendations and reviews. So we actually did hit YouTube and we were looking at some of the different considerations, and this one it
was highly reviewed. I mean, everybody loved it, and the reason that everybody loved it, I think, is the next consideration. Yeah.
And that is price. We did look at some of the higher end suspension seat posts.
And they were like $300.
Yeah, they kind of started at like $300.
Yeah.
And so we had to buy 2 of those. So we were like, price is a consideration. So we found this one, and it was considerably lower price within our price range.
Right.
And it was something that we could actually afford. And we got it from Amazon, so we felt pretty safe that we could send it back if it didn't fit
it was cruddy.
Yeah, if it wasn't going to fit our need. But we were lucky, and everything worked out exactly the way that we wanted it to. So just like everything else in the world, there is a con, okay? There is a downside to things. And I've only found one major con with this suspension seat post.
It is just a silly one.
It's a silly one, but it is something that if you don't correct it, it's going to drive you crazy. And what it is that this sucker squeaks terribly.
Yes.
Now, not all the time. When it squeaks, it's right after you've washed your bike, or if you've been out in humidity or whatever, and it's just going to start squeaking because it's just getting a little bit of rust in the mechanism, okay? So,
or dust or whatever.
Dust, whatever it is in there, is going to squeak. And when it squeaks, you know it's squeaking.
Yes, you do.
You do. And it's annoying. So we just keep a little bit of lube in our pannier anyway. and we just go in there. And the thing with this this particular seat post or suspension seat post is there's lots of little areas in there that you have to find that you need to put a little bit of lubricant in. Now, it's going to be a trial and error things because there's probably about 6 or 7 places that you need to lube this. The
seat post?
Yeah, the little pulleys in the seat post, the little wheels in there. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
And you're just going to have to be trial and error. You're going to have to put a little bit on there and give it a couple little pushes.
And you'll never get it the first time.
Yeah, you'll never get it the first time.
It'll be the second or third time, and then the squeaks will just go away.
Right. But that's the only con that I have found about this suspension seat post. Now, we've used it for probably, what, about a year?
Oh, yeah.
At least.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and so whenever it squeaks, we just put a little bit of lube on there, and then it goes away. We forget about that, and then maybe another 3 months, we'll be like, oh my God, it's squeaking again. So that's the only con that we could find. So I think it's a wonderful, wonderful purchase for you.
Yep, it has been. Some accessories for your e-bike are fun and optional.
Right.
You know, a really cool phone holder, some cool panniers.
A bell,
and they're all useful things, but you don't really need them. You can get by without them. But really, I believe that a suspension seat post is not one of those frivolous
it's pretty
things. I think it's really essential.
I think it's essential because what happens is that you're going to be on your bike and then you're just not going to be able to go as far. And
right, yeah. And
kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, in our experience, we can go about 10 to 12 miles and then our butts start to hurt.
They give out.
And what happens is you stop, and then you get back on your bike, but it's diminishing returns. You find out that you have to stop at
now
7 to 8 miles.
Yeah. Now you're just going back down.
But the suspension seat post makes it so that we can keep riding, and that's a really good thing.
Right. Now you're going to have to stop eventually because your butt's going to start hurting even on with the suspension seat post. But you can just go much further and have less brakes than, or need less brakes than what you had before.
Yeah, if you just have a plain old seat post.
Yeah, and like we said, this is the thing. You do not have to buy the same seat post that we have. Did. You know, our consideration was what?
Money. It was money more than anything. We have 2 e-bikes, and we didn't. The one that we really liked was $300, and that would have been $600. This one was $100. And it does basically the same thing. It doesn't have as many bells and whistles, but it does basically the same thing. It's adjustable, and it does a great job.
Exactly. So,
so that's part of the reason, and you don't have to, but we will put a link in the description to this seat post if you like the idea of it.
Yeah, we love it, and we'll probably pretty soon do a full review of it so you can understand what you're getting, you know, with the seat post in the future.
Right.
All right, cool.
So, that's basically all we've really got to say about that seat post.
That's right. But go out and get you one. If your butt's hurting, protect your butt. Make sure that your butt doesn't hurt. We're seeing a lot of butt, aren't we?
We are.
Anyway, that's the way it goes. And we love the response that we're getting on our channel.
We do. You guys have been awesome. We're getting more subscribers. We're getting more views. We're getting more comments.
Right.
And that's really cool.
Right. So we want to tell you to like, subscribe,
and get your butt outside.
Okay. See you in the next video. Bye.